Welcome to a brand new episode of The Drop. I'm your host, as always, Fighter Coust, and I've got just a bit of news this time. I got a busy week, so I'm going to keep it light, but, there's still some good stuff in here. We'll get to it next. And don't forget to let me know what you guys think of the news and just what you've been going through. Hey, I got ears. Wait, I read the news. I read your comments, I don't hear them. That just shows how out of it I am this week. But don't worry, the news will still be the news. I won't go crazy there. Don't worry about it. What are you doing? No, come back! Let's get to it. My first piece of news, right from the get-go, because this was just announced today, and I didn't even see it on Twitter anywhere. I saw it by going onto the website. Daisuki Net is shutting down October 31st, 2017 at 11 in the morning Japan Standard Time. We just got hit with this. It just goes to the site, then boom, you get hit with a notice like, hey, we're ending our services except for airing Dragon Ball Super simulcast. That's the only thing that will still be going on Daisuki Net, but everything else is done. I have no clue. We got hit with another piece of news the day before, which I'll address next actually. But man, I mean, the funny thing is that I only went to Daisuki for Dragon Ball Super because Crunchyroll sometimes would just be down, and I'm like, oh snap, is it my internet? Oh no, it's not. It's that Crunchyroll's down again, and Daisuki would actually be up, and also they had Gundam there, but I guess Gundam. Apparently, this is what a lot of the shows they had that were there first, but a lot of shows they had were apparently like taken by other streaming services. Boom, already, and they didn't really have any exclusives. They were just showing the stuff other people had. So it was like, well, there was no real reason to go there specifically, except if you're someone like me who liked to go to a site that was much more likely to not be down due to traffic or whatever. And you wanted to watch an anime that was on Crunchyroll, like Dragon Ball Super. But again, Dragon Ball Super, I guess it's kind of if you're only there for Dragon Ball Super, then because sometimes you don't want to deal with Crunchyroll, then I guess you're good. But if you're there for any Gundam series, I guess, and you wanted to watch it there instead of YouTube or somewhere, well, guess you're out of luck. But I guess you would just watch it on YouTube. The official Gundam channel does have Zeta and Double Zeta and Build Fighters up for free on their official channel. So still though, it's always nice to have alternatives, and I'm kind of sad about that, and you'll see why in my next news about Sony. So on to Sony. Sony just bought Funimation. Let me go into the details exactly what happened. Sony acquires majority stake in Funimation, which, as you know, talking about Dragon Ball, they're the guys who bring out the North American dub for Dragon Ball and for Cowboy Bebop and for basically every popular anime out there. They paid $143 million for this majority stake. As for what it means for Funimation, we don't know yet. We don't know if Sony is going to just say, use them as a way to distribute anime more and have it on TV, or if they're trying to increase box set prices and make things harder to get to. I have no idea. I saw Doom and Gloom yesterday from a couple friends of mine, and I have no. Apparently, there's no real. I'm trying to think of the word. There's no real plan set in motion, or no real plan made known to the public about their acquisition, other than the fact that they acquired the majority stake of stock in Funimation. It could be a good thing or a bad thing. Now, the reason why it's been doom and gloom, I understand. I understand why it's doom and gloom, because Sony, other than PlayStation, has been kind of messing things up big time with their movies and their electronics, everything. They have not been doing well, other than PlayStation. Even that, as a PlayStation fan, who owns, you know, a PS3, a PS4, and a PS Vita. You know, it's my preferred gaming platform. But even as a fan, it's a lot of things that I'm just like. And even though they're selling a lot, like I said, it's the only, financially speaking, that's their only like main thing that's doing well. Their movies haven't been doing too well. I mean, they had to team up with Marvel. I'm glad they teamed up with Marvel for Spider-Man, but I understand, like I said, because of that. But who knows? They might just make things a little better. They might. Just a guess, but I could see Sony just doing a thing where it's like they use their money to help distribute Funimation's products to more sources, more brands. Maybe, like I said, maybe even on TV again, besides just Toonami. I mean, like, actual, maybe its own channel that is not just... They have their own channels, apparently, that's FCC regulated, but it's not really a channel. It's not on anything, and who knows? Maybe they'll have their own actual channel on regular TV as just, you hit channel whatever and boom, it's there, not just on demand. Maybe they'll re-release anime. I'm trying to be positive. I don't know why, considering Sony's flubs before, but I don't see any reason to flip out just yet. Although there is good reason to be worried. I just don't. I say you can be worried, but you don't have to flip out. But it's always best to have alternatives, and that's one thing right now. Funimation was already kind of the only guy in the block. I mean, there is Sentai Filmworks, and Bandai has its own thing, but it's mainly Funimation. So I guess that's another thing that people are worried about. Is like, oh great, monopoly. Monopolies are never good. They definitely are not good. It's always good to have competition, to have alternatives. But as of right now, I'm only apprehensive, but I'm not flipping out yet. My next piece of news is about Brock Lesnar, and Jon Jones. Just a few days ago, Jon Jones had his rematch against Daniel Cormier and won again, knocking him out and having Joe Rogan interview him right after he got knocked out, even though Joe Rogan said he wouldn't do that anymore. And we got to see Daniel Cormier cry because he's out of it. Not really a good time to interview people. They're not fully there yet when they just got knocked unconscious. But that's not the news here. The news here, sometime before the fight and sometime after the fight, Jon Jones was like, "Hey, Brock, I'll fight you." And then Brock answered, "Yeah, I'll fight you." This is my abridged version of what happened. And then after beating Dan Cormier, Jon Jones yet again goes, "Hey, Brock, I'll fight you." And then during a promo on last night's Raw, Paul Heyman mentions that Brock will leave WWE if he loses, and it's like, I wonder if they're trying to weave some kind of storytelling to build this fight up, because this fight would do humongous business. And I am not a Jon Jones fan, but I have to admit he's a draw, and he's darn good. I mean, I knew he would beat Cormier, even though I actually was rooting for Cormier. But I was like, yeah, but Jon Jones is going to win. And he did, emphatically. As for the fight itself between him and Brock, Jon Jones is big for what is he, light heavyweight? Yeah, light heavyweight. And he's no weakling. He out-wrestled Dan Cormier, who was a heavyweight, and some say, according to his wrestling credentials, a better wrestler than Brock was. So, and Brock's stand-up is kind of mediocre at best, and Jon Jones is doing crazy things with elbows and oblique kicks to the knee, and I don't see how it ends well for Brock. And I want to bring up the size thing too, because, size and strength. You really are underplaying size and strength. I am sick of hearing that. I am sorry. Size and strength, yeah, okay, he's bigger. I remember, what's his name? Chael Sonnen mentioning that before about a fight. Like, well, you know, back then when somebody got beat up, was they didn't want to. They wanted to make an excuse for the kid. Like, well, that other kid was bigger than my kid. Size doesn't mean jack / diddly. As somebody who's doing martial arts since I was 3 years old, and back in high school and back in middle school, dealing with bullies who were bigger than me, and yet I still shut them up, doesn't mean nothing. So John Jones, he's a better striker. But yeah, they do huge business, and I'd like to see it happen. Make some money for both sides. I know Vince would have to sign off on it, but I think Vince would. And that's it for me. I don't know if I'll do Dragon Ball Super, because it was kind of just there. I liked the episode, but, you know, whatever. Kale and Caulifla did like a Goku flashback to Cell games where Kale was doing even a one-handed Kamehameha like Gohan was. There you go. There's my Dragon Ball Super thoughts. It was alright. See you guys next week, maybe? I don't know. There might be an Ikari cast in place, or there might be nothing. Who knows? Leave your comments and your likes and your feedback all below. Thank you. See you guys.